I wanted to expound upon something I was trying to express in my design reel, and what I meant when I say Previz happens in the art department. But first, a little history. In 2020, during the lockdown, virtual production was starting to be on everyone's tongue, and I was keen to take a deep dive. So I got connected with a virtual production company called Lightcraft, who were looking to update their current product and reach out to new segments of the industry to grow. I ended up on the ground floor as they developed a product called Jetset. Jetset is a virtual production app that runs on any iOS device that was released in the last few years. It's built around Apple's ARKit and has a companion desktop client that can process what you do within the app. It's always best to show and don't tell, so let's just dive in.
So it all starts with the 3D model, of course, and I've loaded the same model that I featured in my design reel, and I built it in Modo and Blender as a setting for a 3D scan of a small figurine, which I wanted to display as a demonstration of using real-world objects in the design of a set. So I decided to blow her up about 3 feet high and drop her on this plinth here, this nice green marble plinth. And then as a challenge, I decided to 3D print her full size from the set to see how long that would take. Incidentally, that was 2 days with several printers. Okay, so that is our Jetset model prepared. And let me point out a few things. So Jetset uses Apple's ARKit as a framework, and ARKit uses USDZ models. And USD, or Universal Scene Description, is a format which was made open source by Pixar and has now become the standard for 3D interchange. And I'm using Blender in this case, but it's the exact same workflow for generating assets for Unreal Engine, for example. And Jetset works beautifully with scenes authored in Unreal. But it's a PBR workflow. The app is designed to let you interact with your set in real time in a one-to-one relationship. And usually your office is not as big as Warner Brothers Stage 23. And I can kind of show you that. Let's look at it from the top down in a floor plan type view. And you can see where the set is sited. Okay, so the developers, in order to get around this, have added a feature that allows you to jump to different locations within the set using a specially named locator, or empty. And let me show you what that looks like in Blender. So I'm going to make all these locators visible, or empties, and select them so that we can see them highlighted on the stage. Okay. So each one of these empties or locators is where you're going to spawn, or to borrow game engine terminology or game engine lingo. The important thing to remember when creating these, and I particularly like Blender for this, is because you can select this particular arrows, and it will show you the direction of the Y positive. And the Y positive is where you're going to be looking, or where you're going to spawn. So if you jump to this locator or this scene loc, your view will be set to view in this direction. So the X positive will be to your right, and the Y positive will be facing forward. That's the direction you'll be facing. So for example, if we jump to this scene loc statue, you can see here the Y positive is facing right at the statue, and if we were facing that direction, the X positive would be to our right. Okay, so that's the important thing to remember when creating these scene locs, because that will help you orient yourself in space when you're in the set or when you're using the app. This is going to make a lot more sense once we demo the app. And you can add as many scene locators as you like. So in Blender, I would go to Add and then Empty, and I would select arrows. And as you can see here, the y positive is facing this way. So this is the direction I'll be facing. So once I've created it, I can rotate it and point it in any direction I like. In this case, let's put it in the hallway right over here. So I'll rotate it again. Face away. I'll grab it and then drag it to somewhere. So if we jump to this locator, which is now just called an empty right now, but let's change the name. And the important thing is to call it scene loc underscore. And then you can call it anything you want. And I'll call it hallway 2, since we already have a hallway in there somewhere. Okay, that's it. You know, the best way to show this and have it make sense is to demo the app. So let's do that. Let's jump into the app and we'll see what it feels like there. So this is the interface that you'll be presented with when you first launch the app. And it's going to require you to load a model before you do anything else. You can use one of the sample models that are built in, of course, or if you have a model already prepared, I would suggest that you just use the default grid, which can be selected at the top of the interface. Next, you need to establish where the camera is in 3D space. So the app is going to ask you to scan the environment, and it's going to pick up on detail points and establish where the floor is. Then tap to set your origin or the spot in the physical environment that corresponds to your 3D model. And you're going to want to turn the purple ball on the XYZ locator to X positive, which would be to the right. Okay, so now we're ready to load our model. And you're going to click down on the bottom left in the little hamburger menu, and that's going to reveal the option to load a model. So I happen to have a USDZ model already prepared. So I'm going to tap that and load it in. Okay, we're in. You can now experience your set in real time in a one-to-one relationship. So remember all those scene locs we planted in our Blender model? They're going to appear under this navigation menu right here. And we're quickly able to scroll the list and move around in our set. Of course, you can record takes and transfer the camera data back to your desktop app, but that's outside the scope of this video, which is intended as a quick start video. And so that'll do it. That'll wrap this one up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.